We are live. There we go. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about. All right. We should be live on all platforms now. Let's check it out. There we are. We're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube. We are here with Subhan Tariq from New York City, from Tariq Law. Let some people get in the room. Here they come. They'll start to pile in as usual. Once you get into the room, tell us where you're at. This is about consumer credit law. We've got a real life attorney. This is not AI. Let's go ahead and make sure everybody knows that. This is not AI. This is a real consumer law attorney that is live with us.
AI couldn't make someone so beautiful.
So yeah, we're gonna do Ask an Attorney. We're gonna show some questions, ask Subhan some real consumer law questions. So anybody out there, tell us where you're at. If you are live, tell us where you're. There we go. We got Prieta coming in from Pennsylvania. Let's get as many people as we can. Hit that like button. We're gonna drop some gems. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. You got charge-offs on your credit report? We're gonna talk about those too. I had a guy, Subhan, that came into the comments on one of my charge-off videos saying, if they give you a 1099, that does not discharge the debt. I'm like, oh my God.
That's literally why they send you a 1099, because they can't.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're in the room and you're looking to ask an attorney some of your credit questions, tell us where you're at, where you're from. We got Memphis, New Jersey, not too far away from New York.
I'm a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki, and he had these folks from Y Refi on this week. I don't know if you're listening to Robert Kiyosaki, but they're essentially what they do is they buy delinquent student loan debt that's with private student loan companies, defaulted student loans, and then for like 35-40% of the debt, and then they'll collect 100% of that debt on the consumer, and they'll just lower the interest rate and the monthly payments and say, oh, if we gave you a debt cancellation, you would have a huge tax burden. Well, that's still, even if you get the tax burden, it's still saving you a lot more than you're going to be paying if you're paying 100% off. So
yeah, those student loans, man, like they're like some of the worst loans possible. And maybe we could talk about that too. Student loan debt, student loans, interest rates. The interest
this little piece of paper over here, it cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So yeah, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We got Subhan Tariq. He is a real consumer law attorney. If you are live, drop a comment in the comments. Tell us where you're from, where you're at. San Diego, SoCal, North Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee. Okay. Oh, that's a really good question we got in here from Mia. So we'll cover that also. What up, Michael Drake? We got Drake in the room. Not the real Drake, but the Michael Drake. But yeah, man, tell us where you're at, everybody. Drop it in the comment section. Let's get a lot more people in. Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen.
We got get more likes. That's so sad.
Exactly. It's a free like. Just hit a like. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just like this live is going to cost you nothing to get your questions answered by a real consumer attorney. This isn't some guru that's saying, I know consumer law. I'm going to sell you something. Like we're not sitting here trying to sell you letters, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna answer as many questions as we can. Tell us where you're at. We got Atlanta, Georgia in the room, Kansas City, Cleveland, Ohio. What up, everybody? It's the credit team is in the room. I see you, bro. I see you over there. What's up, everybody? Let us know you're in the room, wherever you're at. Tell us where you're at, credit team. Yo, credit team, you need to reach out to me. I texted Mike. He needs to respond back. I don't call you out on a live now, so now you have to text me back. Round Rock, Texas, Florida, Baltimore, Alabama. The credit team is from Alabama. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Mike's like, oh, my bad. But yeah, man, so let's get everybody in the room here. We're going to talk about consumer law. We're going to bust a bunch of these myths that you see on social media. Listen, we're about to clear the air with a real consumer law attorney. So if you got some credit questions, you want to talk about charge-offs, we got a question that is at the very top of this, and I'm going to put it up on the screen here in a minute. We want to get as many people as we can in this room because we're going to talk about real consumer law with a real consumer attorney. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Subhan.
Hi, everybody. My name is Subhan Tariq. I'm here in New York City. I have been a consumer law attorney for almost 10 years, actually 10 years. I graduated from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst for undergrad, and then I went to UMass for law school. And then I came back to New York City. I've had my own practice for 9 years. And my office normally is in Midtown Manhattan. So right now I'm just at a home office here in Queens. But New York City is great. It's about to be raining outside. It's been hot. The weather has been really hot. So looking forward to the weather cooling off and taking everybody's questions.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your day. He's probably busier than I am trying to help as many consumers as he can. It's a lot of work working on law, period. People don't understand the process is very extraneous.
Yeah, it's strenuous. There's a lot of the thing is, it's also kind of like a chess match, right? Litigation is you have people working actively against you. So this is something that we keep in mind. Michael Drake has a question of how many states can I service. I'm licensed in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and the Northern District of Texas. That's where Dallas is. That's where Experian is located. But I have colleagues and friends around the country. I have cases around the country in the Northern District of California and other places. So depending on what the situation is, either I help you directly or I work with attorneys in your area to make sure that you are represented to the best of our abilities.
Any disclaimers you want to throw out before we get into
Oh,
this?
yeah. So I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. This live is for educational purposes only. It is not legal advice. It is just so that we can help answer your questions in an educational environment. This is, if you are interested in representation, you have to contact my office and speak to me separately. And the only way to create an attorney-client relationship with us is through a signed retainer agreement. And so if you are interested in reaching out to us, you can do that. But I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. Just want to make that clear.
It's very important for people to understand that because a lot of people don't understand that.
Oh,
So
yeah, I saw something from an attorney.
Absolutely. Laura, Tariq, yes, you can ask a question. We're going to try to get to as many questions as we can, but understand that we sometimes we can't get to all of them, but we're going to try to bring as many as we possibly can to the table. Let's get into it. I'm going to start with the very top question up here at the very top. All right, this is a really good one. Can you get charge-offs off your credit report after you settled with the debt collector? From a legal standpoint, what is your thoughts on this? I'll throw something in before you go, Tariq. Tariq.
I have two first names, so
I know.
So,
I'm so used to seeing your logo. You know what I'm saying? I always want to call you Tariq when I see your logo. Exactly. He's got the best water bottle ever. So it's really important to understand that if you paid a debt collector, you should have negotiated a pay for delete. Now, in my personal experience, it's not the responsibility, or they're not. They do not have to delete it in exchange for payment. It's up to the debt collector at the end of the day. That's what I've learned from my personal experience. So whenever you're going to settle a debt with a debt collector, you want to get it in writing that they are in fact going to delete it from all three credit bureaus, and the debt is satisfied and paid in full. I have seen cases, and maybe Subhan has also, where the debt was paid, but then let's say there was they negotiated $500 off that debt, and then they sold that remaining debt to another debt collector. Maybe we could talk about that also right there, Subhan. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so if you're ever settling a debt with a debt collector, it's always best to get it in writing before you make that payment. So if you have negotiated terms with a debt collector to settle a debt for less than the balance that's owed, make sure to get that in writing with an agreement that they will remove the account off your credit report after you've made the payment. This way you can ensure that not only are you making the payment, but then it's going to get off your report. So a lot of people make the mistake. They'll just negotiate with the debt collector on the phone and they'll make the payment right there and then on the phone. And then they remember after, oh, well, dang, I forgot that it's on my credit report. Well, if you didn't make that a term in your settlement agreement with the debt collector, then it's not a term of the settlement. And the charge off will remain on the credit report as long as the balance gets updated to be zero. And I got to be careful making this thing because sometimes people say, it's like some white nationalist thing. But, if it's a zero, it has to reflect a zero balance on your credit report if you've settled and paid it off. If you do want to get a pay for delete, like Mike was saying, you got to make that a term of your settlement agreement with them on the phone or with them, and make sure you get that in writing before you follow up and make a payment. So it's not, if you don't make it a material term to the agreement, then it's not a term, and they can continue to report the historical data on that credit report, even if it's damaging to you. Now, if you pay off a charge off, right? If you settle and you pay it off, the balance will get updated to be zero, and you're most likely going to be getting a little boost on your credit reports. But it's like, if you are able to settle and get the account removed completely, then it is much better for you. So, because you're going to get a bigger boost on your credit. So, not that I'm promising anything. And again, this is not legal advice. This is for educational purposes only. But make sure that if you are working out an agreement and negotiating with the debt collector to settle a balance for less than the entire amount owed, that you're making a term of that agreement to settle and to delete the negative reporting on your credit report. Sorry, I'm a long-winded person. I like to get.
No, it's okay. They need to hear the full explanation, and even if you use some type of software, like maybe some Metro 2 compliant software, you're going to have a very, very low chance of deletion just because the item is marked paid. You've admitted to it. So like you're trying to dispute something that you've paid and you've admitted to. Paying it is admitting to it. So what is there really left to dispute when you're going even after it with Metro 2? Now, you still may have a less than 5% chance. That less than 5% chance is not good enough for me, in my personal opinion. So let me go and we got another good question that popped up over here also. So I'm going to go and get rid of that one. Let me see. Where was it? Hey, hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. We got a real life attorney in here. How many other YouTube credit people out here got a real life attorney in the room? Y'all got to show some love in here, man. Get those likes.
Shirt. I wear this shirt everywhere I go, even to Costco. And
as you should.
You'd be surprised how many people stop you and ask.
They have a question. They may need your help.
License in New York, there's license plates that say like MD, like doctor. There's no license plate that says I'm a lawyer, which kind of sucks. I would get one, but if I could wear the shirt around everywhere.
You got to look at different ways to get the personalized tag, like law guy, lawman. Yeah. We got a good question here, and I've got a lot of really good response to this one. Can you permanently get bankruptcies removed? The word removed and deleted, this is a fun thing for me. Removed does not mean it's deleted. There's a huge difference, and a lot of people don't understand that. Something can be removed from your credit report, but not deleted. So
you got stuck on the word removed. I got stuck on the word permanently.
That was just the tip of the iceberg, brother. That was the tip of the iceberg.
So I just stopped. Can you permanently? The thing, the the question is whether or not the bankruptcy occurred. Okay, if the person filed for bankruptcy, then I cannot promise, or no one can legally promise to get that bankruptcy removed. Okay, and I don't do credit repair, so I should just say that. Okay. So, can you permanently get a bankruptcy removed if the bankruptcy is legitimate? It was filed. You cannot permanently get it removed. If it was dismissed, it will appear as dismissed on your credit report, even though it was filed. Okay. If the bankruptcy was completed and it says discharged, then your debts have been discharged and the bankruptcy is accurate. Either way, if the bankruptcy has been filed, then there is a bankruptcy. Now, the issue is whether or not it's accurately reflecting as being discharged or not, because there's some bankruptcies that get dismissed without being discharged. And that's another discussion for another day, I guess. I'll just quickly answer that. Dismiss means that the debts were not discharged. It means that the bankruptcy was not complete and it, was dismissed. It was not granted. And then discharged would be if the debts were discharged and the bankruptcy was complete. And so the debts are now no longer owed, and the balance should be updated to be zero on the credit reports. So permanently, no one can guarantee you that. And removed, no one can really guarantee you that as long as the bankruptcy itself was filed. So if the bankruptcy was filed, then it's depends on whether or not it's accurate, but it will be removed. It's possible to get it removed temporarily, and then it'll be back on. So just keep that in mind. That all because something, you may not be happy with something that's being reported on the credit report, does not make it inaccurate, unverifiable, or incomplete.
Correct. And another thing, people I always say, try to use a little bit of simple logic. You went and filed a bankruptcy on an actual in a court system. That's a court document. It's a public record. It goes into the bankruptcy court system. Even if you delete it from a credit report successfully, because there's some that are just impossible to delete and some that are, I don't want to say easy to delete, but they come off pretty quickly. And there's others that take a while. There's a huge variation, and nobody can really say 100%, well, no, I can get it off in that time frame. They're full of it if they're saying that. But understand, even if you delete it from a credit report, if they pull a tri-merge report from a a mortgage lender, the mortgage lender is going to see the bankruptcy. You cannot hide it from a tri-merge report. It's just not possible. So yes, you can potentially delete it from a credit report, but it's not permanent. It's still in the bankruptcy court system, and it's not going to be erased. No judge is going to expunge a bankruptcy. And on top of that, an expungement doesn't mean it's completely taken out of the system. It's still there. So it's really important for people to understand. I personally think it's a waste of time. You need to focus on the inaccuracies post bankruptcy. So there should not be any balances. There should not be any late payments reporting after the discharge. What do you have any thoughts about that?
That's a very good segue. That there's a lot of post bankruptcy discharge reporting issues on credit reports, and it's important to focus on what is actually and genuinely inaccurate versus what is something that you just don't like, and so. Yeah. You can only remove something that's genuinely inaccurate, not just something that you don't like.
Yeah, absolutely. We really dug deep into that one. I've got a really interesting one here. We got a request here. So thoughts on unincorporated business trust being used as a transmitting utility. He put the magic 3-letter word at the end of that. Basically, what the question is, can you have a trust that you use only an EIN and a CPN is the short end of the stick here. First and foremost, let's just go ahead and put this right out in the front. CPNs are 100% illegal. You can go on the FBI website and you can see the cases. All you gotta do is type in the search bar, credit protection, credit privacy number, and you're gonna see the cases come up. There's cases all the way back 2017, 2008, 2007. They're right there on the FBI website. CPNs are 100% illegal. There is a trend going on, and this is the reason why I want to talk about it, that people are trying to convince consumers that there is another social security number that you can have if you use it properly. You're only given one social security number for your life. In order for you to change that social security number, it's almost like instructing an act of Congress in order to get the Social Security Department to issue you a brand new social security number. Your social security number has to be so badly off that the Social Security Administration is like, yeah, this is a problem. We need to just give them another one. And also think about this. And me and Subhan talked about this last time. When people say that, CPNs are legal, where on a credit application does it ask you for your CPN number? There's not one application that says, if you have a CPN, please enter your CPN here. It doesn't exist. It's illegal. You want anything you want to throw in there, man, about that?
I think anybody who talks to you about a CPN number, you should be really careful. They're trying to sell you a used faked bag of goods, and I would highly tell people to just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah, just stay away. Just stay away, okay? You hear stories on social media where people are talking about you put it in a trust and then you only use the EIN for doing business. There's no lending entity that is going to allow you to borrow money based on an EIN. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. I have done over $500,000 worth of lending in 2022 just alone, and I am the personal guarantor of every single dollar that has been put in the name of my business. There's no way around it. Stop letting these people make you believe that it is, and then if you buy their trust course, that they're going to get you into it and they're going to teach you how to do it. It's not possible. Corporate credit is a whole other level. You have to have $3 million in liquid assets to be even qualified for corporate credit, to get credit in an EIN only's number. So the people that are saying this are completely lying. I just want to make that very, very clear, because this is a huge, huge problem in the business credit sector. A lot of misinformation around it. That's all I want to say about it. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I see a great question about debt consolidation here that I kind of
there you go.
Feel like I got to touch. And this is a conversation I like having, because I kind of feel bad for folks. There's a very big difference between debt settlement and debt consolidation. Okay? Debt consolidation is you take your 5 different credit cards that have a total balance of $45,000, and now you merge them together, you consolidate them together to now have one credit card that has $45,000, or one, debt that's $45,000.
True consolidation.
True consolidation. And then there is a difference between debt settlement. Debt settlement is taking your 5 debts that total $45,000 and working on trying to settle those debts for less than the balance owed. So that could be like $20,000 out of the $45,000. Now, usually what debt settlement companies tell you to do is stop paying your debts so that you can build leverage in order to pay them less money later on. And that what they do is they tell you, okay, just stop paying. You're going to start paying into this escrow account instead. And every month your money will start going into that escrow account. And your credit report is going to go 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 100 days, 180 days late. And then it's going to get charged off. And then they're going to try to settle those debts after the charge off for less than the balance owed. and you could probably settle them yourself for 30-40% of the total balance, and instead you will be paying this debt settlement company 21% of the total debt plus the 40% that they've already owed, plus the lawyer fees and this and that fees and that, banking fees. So debt settlement, it is a legitimate industry, but you got to be very careful with who you go to and how it's done. And there's many of these things that you can do yourself in that industry rather than relying on a third party debt settlement company. On the debt consolidation side, debt consolidation is really for a lot of people who are trying to maintain that good credit score. They may have the money to pay, but they're just about to start falling late. And so what they do is they consolidate all of their 9 accounts into one account, and then they make one payment every month. It could be a lesser payment than the 5 separate payments combined. They could be making a lower payment. You're also getting debt consolidation that also often brings down your interest rate, because your interest rate on a normal credit card isn't from 20 to 25%. So if you have 5 debts totaling 45,000, you're lower, and your interest rate's at 25%, and you're having to make a payment on each of them, it's going to be a huge number. Whereas if you do a debt consolidation, now you're going to have one payment. It's going to be usually a smaller payment at a fixed interest rate, something around 6 to 8%. Now it's probably around 9 or 10%, but it is something that people do. So, you should consider what's in your best interest. It seems like William is talking about he went the debt consolidation route rather than debt settlement route. But if that was the case, your accounts should have been paid by the debt consolidation company, and they should not be hitting your report as being late. So, but that's something to take up with credit card, as it seems like you've been talking to them about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of chime in on here. I think the biggest problem that I see in this debt settlement that's portrayed as debt consolidation, when I talk to people on the phone and I see something specific happen on their credit reports, I'm asking them, are you doing debt settlement? They say, no, I'm doing debt consolidation. No, this is not debt consolidation. It's very misleading. It's very confusing to consumers because they're telling you one thing, but another thing is happening. They're not telling, I'm willing to bet money, William, that they didn't tell you that you're going to get a bunch of late payments on your credit report, and it was gonna tank your credit files. That's why he's saying, I'm getting a bunch of late payments. What do I do now? They don't tell them that, because if you tell anybody we're gonna get you a bunch of late payments, it's gonna really hurt your credit, people won't follow through with it.
I mean, there are some legitimate companies that will tell you upfront that, but they're not that common, and and you really need to understand what your consequences are when you don't pay a bill on time. And if you're not going to pay, and you're going to go down the debt settlement route, then all your accounts are going to keep going late, and they're going to go deeper and deeper late until your accounts are charged off, and your credit is probably going to be completely shot. And then they're going to try to settle those debts for less than the full balance owed. And it seems like that's exactly what's happening to William here. And the debts are going to get settled for less than the full balance owed, and it could take you 3-4 years to completely be working to pay off that balance, and then eventually your credit will recover. So that's something to keep in mind.
Definitely. We got a really good question here. It's a very simple one. I like this question a lot, so I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Is an old address accurate? Did you live there? That's the real question.
You did. If you did, it is accurate. There are ways to get the latest address to be the updated, accurate address on your credit report. So you can send them a letter saying that this is my current address. Please remove only of the old addresses because I'm no longer living there and no longer associated with it. I don't have any place to, I don't receive mail with them. So it is possible, but if it's an old address and is accurate, it's accurate. It's probably associated with other accounts in the credit report. But there are ways to send to the credit reporting agencies a letter And I always suggest that you contact or you communicate with the credit reporting agencies by letter, um, and not by email or by through their website. Just send them, an old school snail mail type letter. That's the best way to preserve all your rights, in case they don't fix anything. And tell them this is my current address. Please remove any of the old addresses.
Yeah, just that simple. We got a question here. I got to put this link up in here for people. It's not a legal question per se, but this is a little insider tip. So I got to pull it up real quick. Hold on 1 second. Got to send it to myself.
Meantime, I saw a message that says, "How can I contact you?" I'm just gonna put my I'm gonna put my contact. This is the website tariqlaw.com/contact. So if you do need to contact us for any reason, feel free to shoot us a message.
So there's an interesting question here. I'll put this up. So I'm trying to build business credit. I have a 682 in Experian, 2 paid charge-offs, but I have been really good with 3 credit cards for 5 months. Any business cards you recommend? I'm going to tell you right now, there's not going to be a lot of great choices for people that have something derogatory on their credit reports. There's a new product I have not released any information on. I have partnered with Nav. If anybody's not familiar with Nav, Nav is where you go and you can register your business and you can get your actual business credit reports for free. They give you a certain type of breakdown of your business credit reports. You do the paid version and get like some crazy breakdown. And when you register your business in there, there's a lot of business options in there. There's a bank account. The bank account's no fees, no craziness. And then also you can get a business credit card directly through Nav. So this is a new product that just hit the market. A lot of people don't even know about it. So I'm busting the melon right here on this live just because she asked that question. So the Nav Prime credit card is real. It's going to report different types of limits, but the number one limit is going to be a $500 limit on it. It has to hook up to your business bank account. So you have to have a good standing bank account. You can build that business bank account with Nav that is fee free. So make sure that you go click on those links inside of the comments, and that's where you can find the Nav Prime. It's an amazing card that anyone can start building their business credit with while you're working on your personal credit. I want to just say something really quick before we jump into another topic. You have to ensure that your personal credit is A1 stellar. A1 stellar. No derogatories, no lates, no anything. A serious business lender is not going to give you a business credit card if you have a bunch of derogatories. I'm just going to keep it real with you. Even if you have paid charge-off, a paid charge-off is still a paid charge-off. It's still a charge-off / collection. It's still a negative account affecting your credit file until it goes away, either deleted or it just falls off naturally on its own organically. So I hope that helps you, Mia Moore. I appreciate question. Let's get on to the next one. Let's see what we got. Did you find anything interesting over here?
I didn't.
Let's see.
I remember seeing one earlier.
And
oh, I got a great one.
Okay.
If you have successfully disputed an item on your credit report and had it deleted and are now being sued for the debt by the same company, do you speak to that deletion in your answer to the court? The issue, very good question, because a lot of times people contact me and they say, hey, Subhan, I had the same exact issue that I disputed an account on a credit report and the account fell off, but then I got sued for it. What gives? Why? And the answer to that question is all because you get something off the credit report does not mean you don't owe that account or that balance or that amount to the creditor. You still do. And if they have all the paperwork, And if they have all of the what they're supposed to have, they can and they probably will sue you, because they are going to try to protect their interests and their rights, because now you have been able to get that account off of the credit report. And then they have no choice left but to sue you, because a lot of companies, they will park a debt on your credit report with the expectation that you will want to get it removed and then you will pay it. But if you are just good at the dispute process and are able to get an account off, that does not mean you do not owe it. That they can still sue you for it. Um, if it's a debt collector, there may be other things that you can do in order to try to get that debt eliminated. Um, and you should consult with an attorney in your area. And if you need help to contact someone, shoot me a message and we'll try to connect you with an attorney near you. Um, but it's important to note that all because an account falls off the credit report for whatever reason, if you dispute it, that does not mean you do not owe it, and it's very possible that you do get sued for the creditor to protect their rights and come after you for it.
Yeah, you still owe the money. You still owe the money. Let's bust into. Let's take that one off the screen real quick, Subhan, and then I'm going to bust into this video. This is a really good lead into this. So let's go. Let's put it up there. All right, here we go. We can get it to play. It's looking like it doesn't want to play. Really? All right, let's do it. Let's do it again. Take it off, put it back on. It's looking like it doesn't want to play. It doesn't want to play fair today. All right, we'll just leave it off then. All right, we're not going to do that one then. We're not going to do that segment. So basically, nope.
I was giving you a shot on my end.
Oh, okay. I was like, it's glitching. So it's really important to understand that there's a big myth out there that says, once a debt is sold, you no longer owe the debt. You have no contract with that third party. Every single credit card agreement, every single contract is going to have a contingency that this debt may be sold to a third party without notifying you or without your permission. Read the agreement. It clearly states it in there. I've shown this in videos. Every credit card agreement states that. So you do still, in fact, owe the debt if it's sold and transferred. There's a really good question down here. I'm going to put it up. Let's see where we're at. Here it is. Okay. Here we go. So I've had an account get transferred to 3 different companies now. So it keeps hitting my credit each time with each company, cable company. So I have seen this before. This is a great segue. Can all 3 companies report that on her credit report? Is, I believe, the question for Victoria Queen.
Yes, they can. However, not all of them can report that a balance is owed. So only the latest company that is collecting, if they own that account, they can report a balance that you owe. Let's say it's $65 or $100. The other companies can report historical data that you owed this account from this period to this period, and this company was collecting it for that period of time. But to them, no balance is owed. So the latest company can, and as long as they're reporting a balance properly, and you should make sure that each of them is reporting the balance properly. So because there is an issue of double reporting that comes up where multiple entities are reporting the same account with the same balance. So you got to be careful there. But the premise of the question of, can 3 different companies report an account? Yes, so long as only one is reporting with the balance.
Absolutely. That's answered it best.
repeat, do
Okay, here we
not
go.
pay collection agencies. Once your debt has been sold to a debt collector, that means the original creditor.
Let's start all
And I
over.
repeat, do.
Let's start this all over so everyone can hear this. This is we see this a lot. I call these the one-hitter quitters. They dropped this video because it's very juicy. Let's listen to it.
And I repeat, do not pay collection agencies. Once your debt has been sold to a debt collector, that means the original creditor no longer owes that debt, which means you no longer owe that debt. The original contract you sign is now over. Now, if you are trying to get those negative accounts off your credit, move the smarter way and go with the debt deletion at the 1% Club. Click the link and I will show you exactly how to do that.
I know Subhan is like on the edge of his seat with that one right there. He's like,
So the thing is that, they're number one, they're allowed to sell that account. Okay, so all because they sold an account to the debt collector does not mean that the debt is no longer owed. The debt is still owed. You still owe a debt to now the debt collector. There may be other ways, like legal loopholes, that you can do to try to get off with the debt, but the the way that the video is framed, that says if the debt is sold to a debt collector, then you no longer owe the debt, that is completely false. And it is very misleading. I mean, it's just a way to try to get people to sign up with this company,
and then get the 1% that she calls it the 1% Club, the 1% that actually fall for it and actually buy that course. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's there are a lot of shady characters out there.
Absolutely. Let's see if we got any other good questions in here. I like this question. This is not a law related. I want to put this up on the screen. So there's a big misconception in the credit world because people like myself have this many credit cards. How many credit cards should a person have? This isn't necessary. Like, this is completely absurd and not necessary. This is because I do credit card point stacking. I test out credit cards. But what we have historically seen, and I want everyone to pay attention to this. Everyone hit that like button, hit that heart button. You got to listen to this very closely, what I'm about to say. There's a huge misconception where people think that you have to have a lot of credit cards to have a good credit score. Now, here are the keys. This is the huge gem. Everybody listen closely. The secret sauce is having 5 years of average age of credit. That is the first huge pinnacle that you're going to hit on your credit files. Now, what do you have to have on that credit profile? All you can have is 2 to 5 credit cards at max. 2 to 5. You heard me right. A mortgage and a car loan, maybe a personal loan, not even necessary, but just saying. People that have that specific recipe, I have a client. He has 3 credit cards, a mortgage loan, and 1 auto loan, and 1 that was paid off previously is still on his credit report. He's sitting at like an 825. He's like, how do I get to an 850? I'm like, does it matter? Does it really matter? He's like, yeah, I want to know. I said, okay, don't get any more credit. Are you serious? He's like, yeah, you're perfect. Don't get any more credit. The more you let your age grow, the more your score is going to grow. Every time you add a new line of credit, you're reducing your average age of credit. So that's the reason why people that have the least amount of credit, what we call a perfect mix, because this person has an American Express, a Chase card, and then he has a Discover card. Those 3 credit cards, that's it. 2 auto loans, 1's paid off, 1's active, and a mortgage, and that's it. And he's letting his credit grow. His age of credit at an 820, is it 820 or 830 or something like that? He had like 6.5 years. So he already crossed the threshold of 5 years. Now, the more it grows, the more his score is going to grow. So remember, there's no specific number, but remember, every time you add credit, you're reducing that average age of credit. So let your credit grow. It's just that simple. I hope that answered your question, Mr. Lewis 37.
Yeah,
Um,
I would agree there, and I generally I have 4 cards myself. I'm not huge into stacking points. I have really good friends that are, but I use a Delta card and I used a normal American Express Platinum card, and I have a Chase card. But that's about it. I have another Chase card too, but I don't even know where that is. I lost it somewhere. Just never paid attention.
this is to add to this question. So it says basically, even if it's a bad credit card, you should still use it every once in a while and maintain it in good standing and don't close it. Yes, don't close your credit cards unless you know what is going to happen, which is it's going to stop your age of credit. You're going to lose that available line of credit to your utilization. So it makes up your overall available credit. So let's say you're ripping away $1,000 available credit, and on top of that, now it's not going to report this age. And even if you close an account, it stays on your credit report for up to 10 years after you close it. So closing it is just a temporary thing, and it's going to hurt your credit score. But I tell people you're going to have to make a big boy decision. If you keep it on there longer and you decide to rip the band-aid off, the longer you wait to rip the band-aid off, the more it's going to hurt.
This is
Same
a,
thing.
this. I got a great question over here.
Put it up. There we
I
go.
settled a debt with my credit union for an auto finance for an amount less than the actual amount, so less than the full balance in 2020. However, the credit union continued to report to the bureaus, in spite of them being asked to cease and desist. This reduced my score to the point of me having to pay an exorbitantly high interest rate for a recent auto purchase. Can I sue the credit union for my financial loss due to this error? It's not an error. They are reporting it accurately. If you had an agreement with them to stop reporting, if you had a pay for delete agreement, and you have that in a contractual letter, or in a contractual agreement that we will agree to delete it so long as you pay, then they should have deleted it. But if you are just settling for less than the full balance, then they can report the historical data, and they can report that it was settled after charge off, and they can report that it was settled for less than the full balance, so long as it's reporting accurately. And if you didn't have an agreement with them prior to making the payment, and you don't have anything in writing to evidence that, then they can still report this history because it is accurate. I
Yeah,
know that it's not fun, but it's true.
yeah.
And I'm
People,
not going to
it's
tell
not
you
fun,
the
and
truth
people think
and just lie to you.
yeah, exactly. There's another really good question here. We're gonna put this up on the screen also. This one just came in. Is it true that the creditor gets the money back via taxes after they sell the debt? If so, how is it that you still owe the debt?
They do not get money back after taxes, after they sell the debt. The charge off, when they charge off the accounts, that just means that they don't have to pay taxes for you because they had that account on their books as a receivable, so they would have had to pay tax on it once they received it. But if they can't collect it and they charge it off, it does not mean that the debt is discharged. It just means that they have decided, as an accounting mechanism, that they have deemed this account to be uncollectible. So they are charging it off their books so that they are no longer categorizing it as a receivable, like an immediate receivable, and then they are going to sell that debt to a third party for less than the balance owed. That's like you telling, like me giving you $5,000, and you owe me $5,000, and I've been telling you, hey, Mike, you owe me $5,000 month after month after month after month after month after month. I say it 6 times. After the 6th month, I'm like, man, this guy Mike is a deadbeat. He's not gonna. Let me sell it to Steve over here for $2,000, and Steve can try to collect on the same entire $5,000. I'm gonna go tell my accountant, man, I gave Mike $5,000. He didn't pay me back. Let me try to get me some sort of discount on what I'm supposed to pay in my taxes. And that's not because you are getting money back. It's that it's a accounting mechanism so that you can try to not have to pay.
Yeah. There's another good question in here. I really like this one. If a debt buyer is not licensed in your state, do they have to remove the debt from your credit report?
That's a good question.
I haven't seen this question in a long time. So I'm like, wow, this is good.
It could be a defense to the collection of the account. So when the debt collector tries to contact you about collecting the account, you can use that as a defense that you don't have a license to collect in my state. But they are allowed to report the account to the credit reports because the credit reports are not in just one state. The credit reports are everywhere, and it's possible that you can, it's just it's a tough one.
It's a really tough one because a lot of people think that because they're not licensed in that state, they can't collect. But if they're not licensed in that state and they're actively trying to collect on it, they're calling you, harassing you. Does that put it in a different ballgame? Would you say, Subhan?
I mean, if you're harassing them, the FDCPA covers you. There are some cases about this that a consumer, has filed an FDCPA case because it's a deceptive means to try to collect debt because they're not licensed there and they're technically not licensed there. But, a license is something that the state has standing to sue the debt collector for. Okay? So you don't necessarily have standing to sue the debt collector because they're not licensed in your state. It could be a defense to your collection that, they can't sue you. They can't sue here. And that's usually the licensing, what it does. And the licensing gives them the ability to have standing to sue in court in that state. So it's something you should contact your state about because some states are more gung-ho about it. Other states are less.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a really good example, Subhan. I had a really close friend of mine. They went through a hurricane. A contracting company tried to scam them for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. They hired a debt collecting company that was not licensed in the state of North Carolina, and they sent them a debt collector letter. This is the crazy opening, as I call it. They sent them an improperly structured debt collector letter. It literally was like a piece of paper with like, this is the debt collector's name, their address. We're collecting $150,000 on behalf of so-and-so as a part of collections. You have not paid. Now you need to contact us to pay for this. It was the shadiest debt collector letter I've ever seen in my over a decade and a half of experience. I was like, wow. And then I looked them up on the debt collector's database. They were not registered. Well, sorry, they were registered. Their license expired like 5 years prior to it. So they were actually able to get an attorney in the state of North Carolina to go after this debt collector because they had called them multiple times and they sent them multiple debt collector letters that weren't properly structured, giving the proper notices. They didn't give them the proper notice to validate the debt. What's it called? The validation notice. Okay. That was a very unique case. I feel like it's a unicorn case. And it fell into my lap, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. That case went on for almost a full year until they settled and they got rid of the debt, and they never heard from them ever again. But that's a very unique situation. What are your thoughts on that one?
It, it's possible these things happen, and debt collectors try to do what they can to um, stop it. So they do what they can.
Did you see that? Did you see that comment of Englehart and Gavin's?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like a real case. So if you have a
Thank you.
citation,
I was waiting for. I knew that's what you were looking at. I knew that's what you were looking at. Listen, there is a circulating. I think I have a video for it. I have a video for it. Hold on. This is a good one. You're gonna be like, oh my god. I did this in a reaction video here pretty recently. So let me find the file real quick so I can upload it. But this has been circulating for a really long time, and that is not a real case. And I'm going to give the opportunity here to actually talk about it so people can know. Let me pull it up over here. Make sure I pull the right one. That's not it right there. That's not it. I gotta find it. So look at the comments there while I try to find this. But I got the video. Give me a second, okay? I just gotta find the right one. Oh, I think I found it. Come on, let's go. Give me. It's like I win the lottery over here. Oh yeah, this is it. This is it. Yep. Isn't this? It's a small world. I swear, it's a small world. It's like I just won the lottery, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna put up this video up on the screen to talk about this specific question.
Alright guys, today I'm going to show you guys how to knock off any collections from your credit report without using any physical dispute letters using the Experian app. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is go to credit at the bottom, and then you'll press view your report, and then you will press the account tab. From there you'll go to the collections tab, and then you'll scroll down to the bottom and press dispute account. And you will press start a new dispute, and you will find the red potentially negative tab, and you will click on that, and then you will start a dispute, and you will select not mine or no knowledge of
Not
account.
mine.
And then you will scroll down to the add a comment section. Now
Let's back it up there just a little bit. Right there.
you will scroll down to the add a comment section.
Right there. We're gonna pause it right there so everyone can see this. This is exactly what this guy was referring to over here. What about Englehart and Gavin's? This is not a real case. Somebody made this up. It says, I have not supplied proof under the doctrine of estopper of silence. I think they meant estoppel, but they put a stopper. Yeah. That case doesn't exist. Presume that no proof of the alleged debt, nor therefore such debt, in fact, therefore exists. This is what we call one of those unicorns that someone created. Someone literally created a unicorn and is circulating all over the social media networks of every single thing. I've seen this for years. It's not a real case. Drop it in Google and see if it comes up. If it's a real case, it will easily pop up on Google because court cases are public record. So unfortunately, this is not a real case. It's not a real situation. What are your thoughts on this, Subhan?
I'm just pulling it up here, and I don't know if I can share my screen on this. Can I?
No, I don't think you can.
But
oh yeah, you can. Click on the bottom preset.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just copy this.
Yeah.
Let's move to another question while I pull this up.
Yeah, this is a really good one. Rich man, I recently hired a firm that went after a debt collector and got me $1,000 as the debt collector was listing an incorrect balance amount. from the actual original contract. Win-win. I got the money and removed it from all credit bureaus. At times, it pays to get some professional help. Now, a lot of people are scared to get consumer law attorneys, but a lot of consumer law attorneys work on a contingency program because your attorney fees can be included if you win and there are possible damages in this situation. Some people can win $1,000. Some people can win nothing because, the attorney fees get taken up by it. It's going to just really vary because there's so many different variations, so many different cases. But this is a very good example of getting a professional involved, a professional attorney. He hired this firm to go after the debt collector because they knew for a fact that the balance was off. Now, there's also something here, a little more to this, is that depending on the contract / agreement that you signed, interest can accrue on some of those agreements. So if the interest accrues to up to that time frame, it has to add up to what it's actually supposed to accrue to based on the interest rates that is agreed on per that agreement. So there's a lot going on here, but this is a really good example of hire a professional. Attorneys know what they're doing, and they got it off the credit report and want them some money. It's just that simple. All right, let's see if I can find another one. It's case law. It's not case law. You got anything over there yet, Subhan, or you want me to keep going?
I do. Let me show you something. I don't know. Share screen.
All right, share screen. Let's go.
This is going to be a scary moment here.
All right, here we go.
But it's not. It doesn't exist for what you're thinking it exists. Okay.
All right, go for it.
So, the issue of the estoppel issue, this was in a land. It's in a land dispute, and I haven't read the entire thing, so I don't want to comment on this particular thing before I read an entire case and then the subsequent history and the previous history. But this is a case about estoppel related to property, real estate. It does not have. It's not in the debt collection context, and it's a state law case. It's not a federal case. It's not a Supreme Court case. It's not a circuit case. It's not a district court case. It is only a state case about real estate and not for what you are, thinking about for that purpose. So I want to caution you against using a state case and, just caution you against believing anything that you see online without first getting it checked by an attorney about your particular circumstances. This is how people get sued, because you may be able to, this kind of stems back to the previous question, you may be able to get an account off your credit report, but that does not mean you don't owe the account anymore, and it's very possible that you still get sued to collect that account.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you actually found it. You pulled it up. Hey, I'll take my words back. It was a case, but it wasn't the case that you thought it was, ladies and gentlemen. So it's crazy how people can take something and misrepresent it so quickly, and it spreads like wildfire. And then people start to go into the comments saying, "No, it's real law, it's real case law."
The thing is, particularly if you use something that's like very old, not related to this actual subject matter, you put a citation there, it makes it sound like it's legit, or I have the next big secret in life, and this way you should pay me, $4,000 to sign up for my course, but it's not the case. I did see another question about somebody asking for the contact info, and so I put it up on there.
Okay.
Also, just to let you know, right below there, you can subscribe to our newsletter, and so you can get all the latest updates from that as well.
We're gonna do one last question here. It's a pretty good one right here. It's good. We're gonna circle back. It's like people find this hard to understand. How is it legal that a debt collector can demand payment from any consumer when they are a third party? The agreement was not with the debt collector. Your original agreement / contract is a contract. Did you read the original contract or agreement? I've proven this in other videos. A credit card agreement. Everyone can go to the CFPB website and pull up any credit card agreement and just literally Google CFPB credit card agreement database. Type in, we'll say Capital One. It'll pull up all the Capital One credit card agreements. You can go through it and you can see your contract, your agreement can be sold to a third party without your permission or acknowledgement or notification. There's all types of different verbiage like that that's in there that tells you that. So it can, in fact, be sold to a third party, and it is valid. You still owe the money. You still owe the money, unfortunately. It's really hard for consumers to grasp that. They think that once it's turned into a collection or charge off, well, it's done. I don't owe it. No, yeah, you can, in fact, still owe it, and you still can be sued for it, unfortunately. Anything you want to add to that? That's the last time I want to say that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you can still be sued. You still owe the debt.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Anything else last you want to throw in here, man?
So no, I think we covered a lot of topics. There was this video that we wanted to watch, right? With this guy. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. You want to hit it? You want to hit it last?
Let's see. I want to remove this.
This is a really good one.
I don't know if it's playing. It may not be playing. No.
It may make me add it. It may sat there too long. Let me take it off and add it back on. I think that's what it is. All right, so we're gonna add this other video real quick. We're gonna end it on. This is actually a really good case here.
If you owe a debt collector, you need to listen up. The Supreme Court in 2017 gave a loophole to every debt collection company in the United States. It is now taking full effect. You need to go online and look up Henson versus Santander Consumer USA. It is very important because now debt collectors who buy your debt are officially listed as the owner of the debt, and they can bypass the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Go online, look at Henson versus Santander Consumer USA.
That's a juicy one, man. That's a juicy one. Let me go and take this off for you. Where did it go?
So I got this case pulled up because you mentioned it to me before. So here's the Henson versus Santander case. Hopefully everyone can see this. The issue, and I just want to be clear with the issue here. The issue is when Santander bought this debt. Okay? If Santander bought this debt after the account was in default, then they would be a debt collector. But if they bought the account prior to the account being in default, then it would not be a debt collector. And so individuals and entities who regularly purchase debts originated by someone else and then sought to collect those debts for their own accounts are not debt collectors. Okay? And the reason is because where past participants are like owed were routinely used to describe the present state of a thing that's consistent with the FDCPA, that's not what the FDCPA says. The FDCPA defines a debt collector to include those who regularly seek to collect debts owed another. Okay? That means they're third-party collectors. this account was not owed to another. This account was owed to Santander. They purchased the account prior to it becoming in default, and by the plain language, it seems to focus on third-party collection agents working for a debt owned, not a debt owner seeking to collect debts for itself. Santander was collecting their own account, their own debt, and therefore it is not part of the FDCPA.
So it's really interesting because it's to me, I was racking my brain when I sent this to him, and I said, to me, I understand the case and I understand what was going on, but to a lot of people that they might misconstrue it as it was misconstrued here, because at the end of the day, they're not a debt collector. That's part number one. And part number two, the account was not in default. As a great example, like mortgages, auto loans get sold and resold to other companies, and it's completely 100% legal. My mortgage already got sold like twice, and like I have a great mortgage. Like there's nothing wrong with it. But these debts get sold and bought and traded and all kinds of nonsense to within other entities. It's just, unfortunately, it's not true. Is the best way of saying it. They're not debt collectors, and the debt wasn't bad debt. It wasn't somebody that had defaulted. So it's not the same as a regular debt collector. So people, don't fret. You don't have anything to worry about. Subhan is here to save everyone. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell you, if an account is, if they're collecting for their own accounts, it's not a debt collector. Think of debt collectors as third-party collectors, not original creditors or people who purchased an account prior to it falling into default. If it falls into default and then it gets sold, then that new party, that new entity, is a debt collector. But if an account is not in default at the time that it has been sold off, then it is not a debt owed to another. It is not a third party debt collector.
Absolutely. So yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank Subhan for taking the time out of his crazy busy day out there in New York. We can't thank you enough, man. You've done a lot. You've been here with us for over an hour. Again, thank you so much. He's going to be like our resident Ask an Attorney, I believe. This is going to be a whole segment with us.
And for those of you guys who were on last week when we had all these mic issues, I'm happy that we're able to do this without any issues, technical or, so, and I'm happy to do this. Mike and I, we chat constantly, so it's always good to see him, and keep the questions coming to Mike or to us, if you have questions. And you can visit our website. It's scrolling on the bottom. There's the contact form right there. If you scroll down a little bit, there's a newsletter. You can sign up for the newsletter. There's also all the socials. You can follow us on all the social medias. There should be like one social media to rule them all now. I don't know if that's going to ever happen, but it seems like more and more social medias keep popping up every day. You can tell I'm old because I call them social medias. I'm just not like, and there's like people tell me I need to get on TikTok, and I'm just like, whatever. So there's only so many you can manage.
Exactly. Facts. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone that came to the live. We can't do it without you. I cannot thank all of our communities out there that came here to support. Thank you so much again, Subhan. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll pop up. You never know when we're going to go live. It's always a surprise because I want it to be special. You never know who's going to be on the next live. It might be Subhan, the local resident consumer law attorney, or it could be someone else. I hope everyone has a good night, and thank you for coming.
Have a great day, everyone. Be safe out there and enjoy your weekend.